birthday. Internationally, charging Trump was not an option, so says Special Counsel Robert Mueller. And in sports, Cricket World Cup, England begins bid to win tournament for first time. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse.
Wow.
Welcome back on the one to the national news in detail. St. Kitts and Nevis's Prime Minister and Chairman of the Caribbean Community CARICOM, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, has extended condolences to the family and people of Jamaica and the Caribbean on the passing of Jamaica's fifth Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Edward Seaga. Mr. Seaga passed away on Tuesday, May 28th at the age of 89 years. In his statement, Prime Minister Harris stated, and I quote, "A strong sense of both regionalism and responsibility permeated the Right Honorable Edward Seaga's leadership, style and politics, resulting in him being widely admired and respected as an influential force within the Caribbean community," end quote. He added that, "My colleague heads of government and I will always carry Edward Seaga's hopeful message in our hearts as we strive to maintain the standing of our region as a zone of peace and stability, buttressed by respect and human rights and democracy. These are guiding principles from which we shall never depart, and we will long remember the crucial role that Edward Seaga played in establishing them." Prime Minister Harris also extended deepest sympathy to Mr. Seaga's wife, Carla, their daughter, Gabriel, and his children, Annabella, Andrew, and Christopher, with his first wife, Mary Constantine. Mr. Seaga served as Prime Minister of Jamaica from 1980 to 1989, leader of the Jamaica Labour Party from 1974 to 2005, leader of the opposition from 1974 to 1980, and again from 1989 until January 2005. He was the last serving politician to have entered public life before independence in 1962. In more national news,
the 2019 Atlantic hurricane season starts on the 1st June 2019. We urge all citizens and residents to avoid complacency and begin now to make their best efforts to mitigate the exposure to loss of life and damage to property. NEMA is already being engaged and has already begun work on disaster preparedness and risk reduction.
That's Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris. Dr. Harris was speaking during his monthly press conference today, May 29th. The 2019 Atlantic hurricane season will officially begin on Saturday, June 1st, and will end on November 30th, 2019. However, subtropical storm Andrew formed last Monday, May 20th, marking the record 5th year in a row where a tropical or subtropical cyclone developed before the official start of the season. According to information from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, for 2019, the season is forecast to have 15 named storms, including 2 to 4 major hurricanes, category 3, 4, or 5, with winds of 111 miles per hour or higher. American Airlines will fly a second weekly non-stop flight from New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport, or JFK, to St. Kitts on Wednesdays. This will also complement the carrier's existing non-stop Saturday service from JFK. Effective December 18, 2019, American Airlines will operate the flight utilizing a 176-seat Boeing 757 with 16 business class seats through February, and then a 160-seat Boeing 738 with 16 business class seats. American Airlines is the carrier operating the most seats into St. Kitts. Moreover, the new Wednesday non-stop service from JFK, American also serves St. Kitts non-stop on Saturdays from JFK and Charlotte Douglas International Airport CLT year-round. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court has always enjoyed great support from the government and people of St. Kitts in its training programs as well as for court reform initiatives. That's the word from the Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court ECSC, Her Ladyship Dame Janice Pereira, DBE, LLD. She was at the time delivering remarks at the opening ceremony for the Judicial Education Institute's GEI Annual Judicial Conference 2019 and the Magistrates Conference 2019 at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort on Tuesday, May 28th. The ECSC Chief Justice made mention of the support given by Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris and the Governor General of St. Kitts and Nevis, His Excellency Sir S.W. Tapley Seaton, who she said continue to make concerted efforts to participate in the various court reform initiatives and conferences. The conference aims to broaden, sharpen, and further enhance the skills of its judicial officers through continuous training in pertinent areas which impact the court's work and the lives of citizens of the Eastern Caribbean. The conference continues tomorrow, May 30th. Nevis's Premier, the Honorable Mark Brantley, will host his monthly press conference on Thursday, May 30th at 10 a.m. The forum will be held at the Cabinet Room on the second floor of the Social Security Building at Penny's Estate. At the conference, Premier Brantley will provide an update on matters of national interest. Members of the press will be afforded the opportunity to ask questions for the benefit of the listening and viewing public. The press conference will be carried live here on Von Radio. And lastly, in our national news segment, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris hosted a special luncheon at the Marshall's Restaurant in recognition of the visit to the country by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of China, Taiwan, Dr. Joseph Wu. The Prime Minister extended his own personal greetings and the warmest welcome to His Excellency Dr. Wu and his delegation to St. Kitts and Nevis and wished them a productive and memorable stay in the Federation. The Taiwan Foreign Minister Wu, who is on an official visit to the Twin Island Federation, noted that this visit provides him the opportunity to further strengthen that friendship between ROC Taiwan and SKN, as well as see firsthand some of the projects both countries have collaborated on over the years. He also expressed his gratitude to Prime Minister Harris for his government's continued support for Taiwan at the international level. The visit to St. Kitts and Nevis by Taiwan's foreign minister comes just over a month after Prime Minister Harris led the delegation to the Republic of China, Taiwan. And that's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com, or you can check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. Regional news comes up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here's another one for the steppers.
Swipe to win big in 2019. That's right, the Bank of Nevis Limited is once again giving you, our valued customers, a chance to win big. Just swipe or use your Bond Visa credit card for US $100 for a chance to win a cruise for two, an iPhone XS, or a grocery dash at Best Buy Supermarket.
Say what?
Sign up for a Bond Visa credit card and automatically be entered for a chance to win. This offer ends August 31st, 2019. So tell your friends and family to swipe to win big with the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Welcome back on to the regional news. Out of Jamaica, the bright light that characterized the life of Edward Philip George Seaga faded yesterday in sync with the last heartbeat of an illustrious life that symbolically ended on his 89th birthday. Seaga, Jamaica's fifth Prime Minister, former leader of Jamaica Labour Party JLP, succumbed to one of mankind's bitter enemies, cancer. Born May 28, 1930 in Boston, Massachusetts, USA, Seaga drew the curtain on his innings around 1 p.m. as medical personnel at the Florida hospital, which accommodated him for over a week, ran out of all options to prolong the life of a man who was revered by a vast number of Jamaicans for several decades. Yesterday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced in Parliament that Seaga's body will be flown back to Jamaica for a state funeral on a date to be determined. As an original member of the team that crafted the Jamaica Constitution in 1961, Seaga, shortly after he was appointed senator, moved into Kingston Western, the constituency he would rule politically for 43 years, up to his retirement from elective politics in 2005. Seaga remains the longest-serving member of Parliament with 10 consecutive election victories. The recipient of several local, regional and international awards, including Jamaica's second highest, the Order of the Nation in 2002, Seaga also received 5 honorary degrees from United States universities. Venezuela's ambassador to St. Vincent and the Grenadines SVG has accused the United States government of stealing its money and violating important international laws. Head of the mission at the Embassy of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela in SVG, Francisco Perez Santana, held a press conference last week to speak about some of the most recent developments relating to his country. Armed with documents and receipts, Santana said the U.S. government was intervening in the finances of his country by imposing sanctions that have resulted in approximately $30 billion of Venezuelans' money being seized all over the world. He said the seized funds were in international banks in Portugal, England, France and the USA, as well as 41 other banks and financial institutions. Santana said that many people have died, including children who were waiting on medication that was to be bought with the money that has been frozen. Out of the British Virgin Islands, BVI, government will be implementing fresh legislation that could potentially reduce the amount of poultry imported in the territory monthly. Premier Andrew Foy said this is part of a larger initiative to benefit local farmers and to boost the agricultural industry in the territory. Premier Foy also said government will be offering incentives to existing farmers to get the process underway. He, however, said these farmers must meet certain requirements. He said government will be hosting a meeting with these farmers very soon. Local farmers suffered a major blow following the 2017 disasters, with one report from the Department of Conservation and Fisheries stating that the farming and fishing sectors shared a collective loss of roughly $13 million. Out of the Bahamas, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis announced a $250 million development for Coco Cay during his visit this past Friday. The project is in collaboration with Royal Caribbean International RCI, which Dr. Minnis indicated has an industry partner for some 50 years. The new development is set to feature the tallest water slide in North America, the largest wave pool in the Caribbean, and helium balloons that take you 450 feet up in the air. Dr. Minnis also said that RCI has offered nearly 220 aboard ship positions to Bahamians, and the company is also working on engaging with the local community. Each year, the country welcomes some 6.6 million visitors, and of that number, 70% or approximately 4.5 million are cruise members, a reported 20% courtesy of RCI cruise ships. The company projects an annual increase in passengers to the Bahamas by 2 million by 2020. And lastly, in our regional news segment, in the Cayman Islands, estimates from the Labour Force Survey, which was conducted for 2018, has revealed that the unemployment rate has fallen to 2.8%, the lowest rate since the second half of 2006, when it stood at 2.6%. Overall unemployment is now significantly lower than in the second half of 2017, when the unemployment rate was 4.9%, and lower in spring 2018, when the rate had already dropped to 3.4%. According to the Cayman Compass, the decline in unemployment coincided with a 7.5% rise in the total labor force, which reached 46,178 workers in 2018, the highest number to date. Based on the survey, the Economics and Statistics Office estimates that 44,887 people were employed in Cayman's economy, an increase of 9.9% compared to a year earlier. In contrast, 1,291 people were seeking work, a decline of 38.1% from the same period in 2017. And that's it for our regional news segment. Stay with us for news around the world. Welcome back on to the international news. U.S. Special Counsel Robert Mueller has said charging President Donald Trump with a crime was not an option in his first comments on the Russia inquiry. He reiterated that his report did not exonerate the president and that legal guidelines prevent the indictment of a sitting president. Mr. Mueller did not rule out testifying in Congress, but said he would not give information that was not in his report. Reacting to the remarks, Mr. Trump said the case is closed, thank you. As special counsel, Mr. Mueller was tasked with investigating Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. His 448-page report said it had not established that the Trump campaign criminally conspired with Russia to influence the election. However, it did detail 10 instances where Mr. Trump had possibly attempted to impede the investigation. His statement largely reaffirmed what was in the report released with redactions last month. He said if his team had confidence that Mr. Trump clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so. Mr. Mueller added that the Constitution requires a process other than the criminal justice system to formally accuse a sitting president of wrongdoing. U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton has said naval mines almost certainly from Iran were to blame for the damage to oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman earlier this month. Mr. Bolton provided no evidence to support the allegation, which Iran said was laughable. The attacks off the eastern coast of the United Arab Emirates on May 12 left holes in the hulls of 4 ships. The incident came amid an escalation in tensions between Iran and the U.S. Boris Johnson has been ordered to reappear in court over claims he lied by saying the UK gave the EU £350 million a week. The Tory leadership candidate has been accused of misconduct in public office after making the claim during the 2016 EU referendum campaign. It is a private prosecution launched by campaigner Marcus Ball, who crowd-funded £200,000 for the case. Mr. Johnson's representatives have called the case a stunt that is being brought for political purposes. The preliminary hearing will take place at Westminster Magistrates Court, and the case will then be sent to the Crown Court for trial. And lastly, in our international news segment, 16 people have been charged in Bangladesh over the shocking murder of a teenager who was burned to death after reporting sexual harassment. Nasrat Jahan Rafi, 19, was doused with kerosene and set on fire on the roof of her Islamic school on April 6, days after filing a complaint. Headmaster Siraj Odullah, targeted in the complaint, is among those charged. Police say he ordered her murder from prison when she refused to withdraw her accusations against him. They described the preparations for the killing as being like a military plan. And that brings us to the end of our news segment. The latest in sports is next.
Need a car but don't quite have the deposit? You don't need a deposit with Suzuki Sign and Drive at TDC Automotive. Choose your Suzuki vehicle, sign up, and drive out. Get a brand new vehicle with 0 deposit, 5 years warranty, 1 year servicing, special financing and insurance, free flat screen TV with 3 months Flow TV package, free undercoating, free car care bundle, and so much more. Come in, sign up, drive out. Suzuki Sign and Drive at TDC Automotive. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back on All the Sports. In cricket, the Cricket World Cup begins on Thursday with host England opening their bid to win the tournament for the first time. Ian Morgan's team, the world #1s and favourites, take on South Africa at the Oval. Defending champions Australia, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, India, New Zealand, Pakistan, Sri Lanka and West Indies also make up the 10-team competition. They will all play each other once in 50-over matches across 11 venues in England and Wales. The top 4 teams from the group stage advanced to the semi-finals before the final at Lord's on July 14th. In football, Neymar has been stripped of the Brazil captaincy for next month's Copa America and will be replaced by his Paris Saint-Germain teammate Dani Alves. The 27-year-old forward, given the role 8 months ago but under pressure after recent disciplinary issues, was informed by manager Tite on Saturday. Alves, 36, will also lead the side in friendlies against Qatar and Honduras. He has captained Brazil 4 times, most recently in a 1-0 win over Germany in March 2018. This month, French football authorities banned Neymar for 3 matches after he hit a fan following PSG's defeat by Rennes in the Coupe de France final. In more cricket, West Indies defeated New Zealand in an ICC Cricket World Cup warm-up match on Tuesday, May 28th. Shai Hope stroked 101 off 86 without looking aggressive at almost any point during his innings except the start, where he dispatched Trent Boult, otherwise known as the best bowler of the game on either side, for 19 in his 5th over. The Samurai scores were as follows: West Indies 421, Hope 101, Russell 54, beat New Zealand 330, Blundell 106, Williamson 85, Brathwaite 3 for 75 by 91 runs. In basketball, the 2019 NBA Finals will commence on Thursday, May 30th, and will see the 2018 champions, the Golden State Warriors, versus for the first time in an NBA Finals match, the Toronto Raptors. The schedule is as follows: Game 1 on Thursday, May 30th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time or ET. Game 2 on Sunday, June 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Game 3 will be on Wednesday, June 5th in Toronto at 9 p.m. Eastern Time or ET, and Game 4 will be held on Friday, June 7th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time or ET. If there are Games 5, 6, and 7, they will be held on Monday, June 10th, Thursday, June 13th, and Sunday, June 16th, respectively. In tennis, Serena Williams survived the scare as she fought back to beat Russian world number 83, Vitalia Diachenko, in the French Open first round. American Williams, who has been battling injury, showed rustiness in a poor first set filled with loose shots. Despite a rocky start, the 23-time Grand Slam champion found a rhythm to claim 12 of the final 13 games and win 2-6, 6-1, 6-love at Roland Garros in Paris. Williams, 37, faces Japan's Karolina Nara or Slovenian Dalia Djokovic next. Since losing to Karolina Pliskova in the Australian Open quarterfinals in January, Williams has played in only 3 tournaments: Indian Wells, Miami, and Rome, and has withdrawn from all of them. And lastly, in our sports segment, in tennis, former champion Roger Federer and 11-time winner Rafael Nadal moved into the 3rd round of the French Open at Roland Garros without dropping a set. Federer, the 2009 champion, needed only 96 minutes to beat Germany's Oscar Otte. The Swiss 3rd seed, playing in the tournament for the first time since 2015, won 6-4, 6-3, 6-4. Defending champion Nadal eased to a 6-1, 6-2, 6-4 win over Germany's world number 114, Yannick Madden. And that's it for sports. The weather is next. Welcome back. The weather tonight, and first here's a synopsis of the Caribbean. Moist and unstable conditions are affecting the area. This will heighten the chances of cloudiness and showers across the islands over the next 24 hours. Meanwhile, the high surf advisory is discontinued for the near-shore coastlines of Antigua and Barbuda. The weather tonight will be partly cloudy, becoming cloudy at times with a 50% or moderate chance of showers. The weather tomorrow will be partly cloudy, becoming cloudy at times with a 50% or a moderate chance of showers. The winds are southeast at less than 10 knots or less than 19 kilometers per hour. The seas are 1.5 meters, which is also equal to 5 feet. The sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:36 a.m. and the sunset tomorrow will be at 6:41 p.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Wednesday, May 29th, 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, Prime Minister Harris issues statement on the passing of Jamaica's 5th Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Edward Seaga, and SKN's Prime Minister urges residents and citizens to prepare for the upcoming hurricane season. Regionally, Jamaica's former Prime Minister passes on his 89th birthday. Internationally, charging Trump was not an option, so says Special Counsel Robert Mueller. And in sports, Cricket World Cup, England begins bid to win tournament for the first time. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Jarvis Brown wishing you a pleasant evening.